Does free streaming hurt or help bands?
Kind of goes both ways, you know. It's good for the exposure, but at the same time, money does, it makes the world go round.
I actually think that it does both. I think that it helps because it gets the music out there and it makes it easier to share with people. But I do know that it hurts bands because they're not getting paid.
It can go both ways, I guess. And in the world nowadays, like the music world nowadays, obviously, because that's how music is being distributed to us as a fan base. So I understand they still obviously have to make money. So it's like a double-edged sword for them.
Yeah, I would say that it helps because it helps people be able to share the music and spread it around and get a larger audience as easy as possible. But I do think that it hurts bands because they don't get paid, and you need to be able to make some money to be able to continue to make your art.
So you gotta need it to continue, but at the same time, nobody likes paying for things. So you have to find that healthy balance.
Exactly. It's a loaded question, and that's what I wanted from it. Exactly. It's a double-edged sword. It depends on what you're doing with it afterwards.
I think free streaming services can help bands, especially if you own the rights to your own songs. I think like Spotify actually pays out pretty good for plays. So internet radio, as long as they're announcing your band's name and you get exposure, it's worth it. But it's hit or miss, really. I guess it depends. Also, if a label is streaming you, you're not making much.
I think it's a little bit of both. They do help bands because, it is a method of getting your music out there that other people may not have the opportunity to see.
Well, I think that's the way it's going now. I think that's the way of the world. You have to kind of put yourself out there for free first in order to get that recognition.
Yeah. Especially with local bands, I think it does help.
Yeah.
Especially outside of your local area. You want to spread your wings as far as you can go, and the internet is a wonderful way to attempt to do that.
They do both. It's just the business has evolved, and I think that streaming services help tangible album sales, but at the same time too, it does make music more accessible.
I mean, monetarily, it definitely hurts. You don't really get a lot per stream, but if you really think about it, in the past, the way that record companies used to deal with bands, you didn't really make a lot of money then either. It was the record companies making a lot of money.
I think it could be a little bit of both. Obviously, free streaming helps people kind of get to know your band and be able to listen to you without having to pay, which is nice. But of course, on the other hand, not getting paid, it doesn't help your band either. I do think that not a lot of people get their paycheck from being in a band in the first place. So if they did get their paycheck from being in a band, then the free streaming services usually probably wouldn't be as big of a deal to them because that's not really their primary pay anyway. It's more of touring and selling albums and everything like that.
And that's how people have become famous, YouTube, and they weren't getting paid for it. They just put their videos up, they just put their songs up, and
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, totally.
And that's the way the world is.